No question.
Easy one this week, I guess. I guess with the challenge of Bama, obviously the size has always been there, the issue, and the good play in the secondary, the big linebackers. Does it just look like a kind of a classic Alabama defense on film?
Definitely. They're have very good size. They're stout across the board, up front, and the linebackers. They're very skilled in the back end, and return a lot of players with experience. So, last week we faced, what was it, the number 2 defense in the country in scoring defense. And these guys are only number 3, so at least it gets a little easier, right?
Yeah. Step up.
How's Justin coming along in terms of health?
Good. He continues to progress every day.
With him so banged up, do you maybe work your contingency plans a little bit more during practice this week?
We're always, regardless of the situation, our guys get a lot of reps. So they've all done a good job, and that's been the case throughout the season.
Mike, during the season, have you seen Josh and Peterman take steps, even though they haven't obviously played as much as Justin?
Yeah, they definitely have, and both mentally and physically, those guys are doing a good job. We always stress to all of our players, quarterbacks obviously included, to prepare as if you're a starter. So the approach never changes for them, and when you approach day to day with an intensity to improve, and you never know when your number's going to get called, they've continued to progress throughout the season too.
How did Nathan grade out, or just how do you think he did in this game compared to getting stuck there in Georgia?
Well, he only had 4 plays, so there wasn't a whole lot to substantiate there.
On the offensive line, you guys had to do some shuffling there. What have you seen this week, and I guess how do you manage that situation?
Yeah, the good thing is there's been quite a bit of shuffling throughout the course of the season, and those guys have demonstrated versatility to play multiple positions, so they'll continue to do so. So again, all those guys have repped left and right, and I should say all, but a lot of the guys have repped left and right positions and guard and tackle positions. So that experience throughout the course of training camp and the season has benefited for these types of scenarios.
With not knowing maybe the fate of Marcus and Coleman and kind of switching those around, when do you feel comfortable saying, hey, this is our 5 going into Saturday?
That's an ever-changing deal. I mean, even when everybody's healthy, we're constantly shuffling lineups to get guys reps at multiple positions. So again, throughout the course of practice, whether there's never been an injury or not, we've worked lineups with multiple scenarios.
Mike, when you have an offense that's maybe struggling a little bit, how much would maybe a big player to help kind of generate things, maybe just have you guys feel a little bit better about yourselves?
Yeah, that'd be huge. We've emphasized to the guys making plays when the opportunity presents itself. That's the key. There are times we've had good protection and good ball location, and the ball's dropped. There's times where guys are running wide open and the protection hasn't worked out. From day one, we've always emphasized guys playing 11 hats as one unit, and that's the key. So many times we're one player away from potentially a big play, and that's when you're dealing with offensive football. I always tell our guys, all guys got to execute with the same heartbeat. Defense is a little bit different in that you could have, you could have 2, 3, 4 guys make a missed assignment, do the wrong thing. If one guy makes a tackle, you'd never know. Whereas offensively, one guy has a missed assignment or misses a block, it ends up in a negative play.
Which talked about Monday from the outside looking in, play calling is like the magic wand. Like, it's a good play, like you're talking about. It's a great play call. If it's a bad play, that's a terrible play call. Does an offensive coordinator feel that more than anybody?
I guess there's a certain degree of truth to that. When they work, it's a great play call. When it doesn't work, it's a bad play call. I guess you can always look back and reevaluate it. And I always evaluate myself pretty harshly, and try to see where I could have put us in better situations, and where I could have put guys in better situations or better positions, and where we as coaches are our own worst critics.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I know there's a lot of critics out there, but I'm as hard on myself as anyone else could be.
How was Alabama able to shut out a pretty good Texas A&M offense?
Yeah, they're a really good defense, and they obviously got up really quickly. I was watching the game, and Texas had only run 16 or 19 plays, and the score was already 30-something to 0. And when they're put at a deficit like that, they become one-dimensional, and now Alabama can pin their ears back. And that's how it got out of hand. Is they were able to force Texas A&M to become one-dimensional because the score got out of hand so quickly.
Mike, has it been maybe more difficult than you expected to get Marquez involved more in some more big plays the past few weeks, or is he? Because he's been dinged up a little bit. Has that complicated it?
Yeah, and again, Marquez and Jason Kroon both play the same position. In our philosophy, whether it's Marquez and Jason or on the other side, Alton Howard and Josh Malone, we roll them in, and we think the skill sets are very similar and do not change from those particular guys at those particular positions. So from a play calling standpoint, if I know Jason had a big week a couple of weeks ago. Shoot, those plays were all called if Marquez is in the game also. So it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time. Our guys understand that, and they're selfless. So they understand their opportunities will come, and we'll take advantage of those opportunities.
Outside this building, I think there's an assumption that Joshua is redshirting or hoping to redshirt him. Is that the case, or what would it take? What circumstances would?
Again, Josh has always prepared since day one to play when called upon. So he's always ready to do that.
What circumstances would it take for him to play?
I'd say again, whether it be injury or just a matter of him being needed.
Mike, with Justin, Butch talked Monday about the cumulative effect of all the hits and sacks he's taken. He's had, I think, 6 turnovers in his last 2 SEC games. Do you think some of that, some of the hits and some of the physical toll that he's gone through this year has maybe rushed him or maybe had him pressing a little bit in some situations?
No, I wouldn't say it's a result of being rushed. I'm trying to think back to the last game. We had the 3 interceptions. One was on the scramble. Josh Malone's got to continue coming back downhill. The other was on the scramble where Justin's just got to do a good job of putting the ball up over the top. And then the last one he underthrew. So I don't know if it's necessarily a result of a physical pounding, as you put it, as it is. Yeah, maybe getting flush and not being great with ball locations in those scenarios. But again, it's part of the process.
I'm sure you had lots of different seasons as a coach where you're scoring 35 or 40 points a game, and then some where it's not going as well, and maybe things aren't as easy for the guys. How well has this group done in terms of kind of keeping calm and trying to get this fixed and not bickering or finger pointing?
Yeah, I love these players. I love the guys on our team. Their attitude is phenomenal, and it's part of Coach Jones's program to instill the ability to overcome adversity. And these guys have faced adversity since day one in all their training. So the adversity they face in the course of the season is part of the process of them growing and becoming better football players. They haven't balked one bit, and they haven't. They've done, like myself. They've done. They look in the mirror and they evaluate themselves and say to themselves, "Where can I improve?" And I give them credit for that.
You talked about big plays earlier. It seems like you guys have tried that sort of sideline, go ball a couple of times and it just hasn't worked out. I guess. What's kind of kept that from working out? 1 and 2. How much of a difference would it make if we could just hit one of those?
Yeah, that'd make a huge difference. I know the one time we had Marquez down the sideline and he kind of stumbled, went through his hands. Same thing. We've attacked the deep middle of the field too at times, and that hasn't worked out. So you're right. The explosive plays, big plays, will make a huge difference. And oftentimes, there's a direct correlation. Obviously, it's not rocket science. There's a direct correlation between the number of explosives you have on offense and the number of points you put up. So that is a key to having offensive success.
Is there anything about Justin that's been off on that? Has he just been overthrown?
Yeah, there's been it's been a combination of many things. Whether it's been the ball location of Justin, he has, especially early on, was overthrown quite a bit. And I think the one interception he threw to Josh Malone, I think he was fighting against that. He was trying to take a little bit off of it, and there was contact between the defender and Josh, and he stumbled and was not able to make a play on the ball. And again, there are a lot of factors, but for sure, ball location's been one of them.
Mike, how much time do you allow yourself to call a play from the time the ball's down to you got to make that call and send the signals forward?
Yeah, usually I have the next play in mind before the whistle blows.
Is it? You got to be very disciplined, obviously, to snap and clear when you saw something that was almost going to be a touchdown, but it wasn't. You got to still be going right on to the next play.
absolutely. Sure. Again, we preach it to our players. We as coaches live it too. There is. Usually, you ask about the next play in mind is usually multiple scenarios. Hey, if it's a pass play, if it's incomplete, what's my next play? If it's gain of, I can usually predict a little bit at least the game we might get. What's the play? Same thing with a run. I can typically have the next play in mind pretty quickly. So you're right. It's just a matter of moving on and putting the last play behind us.
Last one. Is that it? All right.
Great.
Thank you, guys.